Rojas, and I'm the author of Litany of Saints, a triptych. Litany of Saints is a collection of 3 loosely connected novellas that tell the stories of Costa Ricans who face challenges to their perceptions of who they think they're supposed to be and who they actually want to be. In the first novella, we have a wife who's always been dutiful to her culture, her religion, and subservient to the men in her lives, and that has hampered her from living the life she really wanted for herself. In the second novella, we have 3 U.S.-born daughters of Costa Rican immigrants who return to their parents' homeland and face an insidious machismo and marianismo that they're ill-equipped to deal with. And in the final novella, we have a naturalized American who is called back to Costa Rica by his mother when his brother is arrested for terrorism. I was born in the U.S., a country of immigrants, immigrant parents. Migration is super hard. You have to leave so much of yourself behind, and you have to reinvent yourself once, twice, sometimes several times. And you have to do this against the backdrop of people's perceptions of you, and sometimes they're stereotypes of you. And all the while, you're simply human. And as all humans do, you're struggling with your own sense of identity. And sometimes when we're doing that, we put ourselves in these cages of who we think we're supposed to be. But we're the ones who also hold the keys to freedom. So while I'm telling these stories from the point of view of migrants, what I'm really doing is telling universal stories about the human condition. I come from a big family. I'm one of 5 in a family of 33 cousins, 85 cousins once removed, and an uncounted number of second cousins. And that's only my mother's family. So you can see I grew up in a big family. And for us, family was all-encompassing. My original idea had been to write a memoir of immigration about the house that my mother's family moved into when they came to the United States to start their new lives. But when I interviewed all of them, they all had different versions of the same story and the same conclusion, and that was that they had all been really happy. So a good story needs tension, and I ditched the memoir, and instead I created a family that had more dysfunction, and I gave them a lot of the details of my family's immigration story, but I revealed more of the family dynamics that made this fictional family tick. And the reason I did that was because even though I remember the happy parts of my family, and we always presented a very united front, as an adult I realized there had to have been more struggle, and everybody just put on a good face, but there had to have been more disagreements and resentments and scandals and secrets and maybe just suffocation. I hope that readers of Litany of Saints come away with something, anything, that they can learn from or experience or apply to their lives or just escape to. I also hope that they reflect on the themes of living your best life and being who you want to be. And even though the stories I tell in Litany of Saints are universal, I do hope to offer a little glimpse of the Costa Rica beyond the beaches and volcanoes and guidebooks, and of Costa Ricans beyond the monolithic Latino classification. The decision to move from journalism to fiction was really the culmination of my midlife existential crisis. I've always been really dutiful. I've always done what I was supposed to do. And I studied journalism and I said I wanted to be a reporter. And I really did. But before my first child was a year old, I dropped out of the full-time workforce. And I felt always that I was disappointing society. So I kept doing freelance journalism to pay my debt to society and maybe to all the women who came before me and paved the way for me to be able to choose a career. But midlife offers some insights, and for me, one of those insights was that nobody had ever been watching me, and I could have always been or done whatever I wanted to. So I ditched journalism, and I decided to try my hand at something I had only ever been a consumer of, and that was fiction. And once I made that decision, once I started to indulge and write stories, they just flowed out. I love stories. I've always loved stories. And it's because stories are everywhere. When I was given beats of really sleepy towns and the editor would say, "Get out there and get us something. We have a paper to print," you'd have to find stories anywhere. Because I like to garden, I like to use this analogy. Seeds float in the sky and they just fall on the dirt. And they get sun and water. And some seeds are really strong, and others, they're just weeds. And their roots are shallow. They don't look so pretty. And after they've grown, they die back easily. Same with stories. Sometimes I have a story idea and I'll flesh it out and I'm like, this is good. Let's keep going with it. Other times, the story has dissipated by the time I finished my walk or finished my shower. But I don't worry when that happens because I feel like there's enough stories to go around them. And even though I'm late to the game, I think I'll have plenty to write about.